anxiety. No matter how many times you try to stop procrastinating, you seem to always find something else to do when it comes time to get down to business with that all-important project. You can't seem to get control over your schedule, but you cannot figure out why. You find yourself regularly frustrated that you can't get places on time, you can't get all your projects completed, and you can't say no to new requests. You repeatedly find yourself in relationships that are dysfunctional and unhealthy in some way. Even when you meet new people, the relationship may start off fine, but eventually you are disappointed because the same dynamic eventually emerges. You rarely, if ever, ask for what you want. You take what others offer and then resent that they are not giving you what you want. You have attempted to break that bad habit, overeating, smoking, running up debt, but your efforts only last so long, and eventually you fall back into your old ways. You wonder if there is any point in trying to change anymore. Maybe it is the setback you are still trying to overcome, or the decision you now regret that sideswiped you into a ditch. Or maybe there isn't any one event that seems to define your stuckness. Instead, stuck has become a way of life. You've gotten used to it. You may not even think of yourself as stuck anymore. You've rationalized that this is just how life is. But deep down, you know you are settling, and you're not really okay with that, even when you try to convince yourself otherwise. You feel a constant uneasiness, a lack of peace about where things stand in your life. You are somewhat in God's will, but you want to be perfectly in His will, and that's going to mean making some shifts and changes. Since you have taken the step of getting this book and reading these words, I believe you are ready to get unstuck and become absolutely unstoppable. What that looks like, I hope to help you define on the pages that follow. Like you, I've been stuck many times. I write this book to you not as someone who has always been unstoppable, but as someone who has been stuck many times and somehow managed to get unstuck. I also write as a coach who has personally helped hundreds of people get unstuck in their careers, relationships, finances, and even weight loss. You'll read some of their stories in the following pages. Each and every time, there are principles that must be internalized and embraced. Throughout this book, I will reference these principles and show you the way to navigate through them. People who know me find it peculiar when I share my struggles with procrastination. That's because they see the end result and have no idea of the sticky, counterproductive, self-sabotaging habits I had to overcome to get there. So allow me to let you in on some of my journey, the self-sabotaging, undisciplined, frustrating, but common situations I repeatedly found myself in. I am a recovering procrastinator. I say recovering because I fall off the wagon, often, like when it was time to write this book. You'd think that by the time an author dives into her 10th book, she has her habits all perfectly in order. I don't. I still have to wrangle the procrastination demon who whispers repeatedly, "You can write tomorrow." That deadline is not for a while. Besides, you have more outlining, organizing, and laundry to do. If you've ever found yourself avoiding what needs to get done in favor of something, anything else, even other stuff you've been procrastinating on that now seems easier by comparison, then I bet you can relate. I say yes to the voice of procrastination for a while, but then there's a pivotal moment when I have to turn in the right direction and say, no, there is writing to be done. And I am a writer. I must write. And using the many tools I'll share with you, I do. I felt stuck in a career that wasn't the right fit. I didn't just have a job, mind you. I owned a business, but I was doing work I wasn't all that crazy about. And I did that work pretty well, which meant people kept asking me to do more of it. I didn't want to admit I didn't want to do it. Through prayer and meditation, I finally discovered what I really wanted to do, the work I am doing right now, inspiring women to live more fulfilling lives. The problem? I couldn't figure out how to make money at it. I mean, theoretically, I knew how to make money, sell books, and speak for a living. Simple, right? Easier said than done. But by God's grace and a lot of tenacity, today that's exactly what I happily do for a living. My pivotal moment came one day in the shower. I dragged myself out of bed to go to the office.